I always knew I was going to be reviewing an episode from the Powerpuff Girls reboot, mainly from 2016, after reviewing the Christmas episode review from this show from my Christmas reviews of 2022, but let me just say that I was fully aware when it comes to Blossom's love interest that ended up getting so much heat because the character design of Jared himself fully resembles the voice actor and the creator of the character design itself, Jake Goldman, but even without the implications, I still do not like the pairing between Blossom and Jared, especially since that this episode really derailed Blossom's character to the point that she is a different character than how she was in the original. In this episode, it's a Broadway episode. Well, in the past, Blossom was always the lead character in Broadway, but this time, Bubbles gets the Broadway lead, which leads to her getting a chance to kiss Jared, who is also part of the lead, which really infuriates Blossom to no end because she really wants the lead, and at this point it's no obvious that she's willing to sabotage in order to get what she wants. I remember the Powerpuff Girls when it comes to my childhood, and I can instantly remember Blossom being the most intelligent, and just seeing her being downgraded to the point that Bubbles is a more likable character, including Buttercup, is really saying something. Blossom in this show, mainly from this episode, is a lot more different considering that she desperately wants the kiss with Jared, and for how the pairing really infuriates people, they really cannot stand this episode a lot more. Even if I did not, like I said earlier, I can't be able to get over how out of character Blossom is, mainly of how she is just way too focused on a play that the teacher herself just found the book of the play from the dead, and in all honesty, everyone else, aside from Bubbles and Buttercup, are way in the wrong than they should. I would say that Jared isn't in the wrong, but at the same time, people just don't want to see Jared being paired with Blossom. Miss Moss took a book from the dead for the sake of making the Erica the Red play to happen, and if that is the reason onto how Erica the Red came in order to wreak havoc, then it sums up a lot that repercussions aren't a thing in this. Granted, it's still important in some occasions in other shows, but when it comes to this, I really do not like on the fact that none of the characters get repercussions, mainly the fact that they're way out of character. Believe me, this show, when it comes to it being a reboot, summarizes on the fact that you were allowed to watch the original, because even if the later seasons did have problems, it was still part of the original, even if the creators were working on Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends when the original was close to coming to an end. The moral of the episode is mainly not being too gritty to be in the center of the attention all the time in order to be happy for other people that are close to your life, mainly Bubbles getting the lead. But as far as I'm concerned, that phase of Blossom in this just summarizes on the fact of how juvenile this show is, which really hurts the fans who enjoyed the original, just to see one of the main characters being portrayed like this. Not only she locked Bubbles in the boiling room, but also Buttercup, which wasn't really that difficult considering they can easily get out of, but this just sums up of how they made the jealousy in Blossom's way too out of character that you can easily tell that she would rather be a different character, which would have made the episode a lot more better. But let's be real. I didn't watch the majority of this show and just only focused on the worst episodes, and as far as I'm concerned, the fact that they're willing to make Blossom the antagonist just sums up a lot that you would rather see Buttercup in this position, but at the same time, I actually like Buttercup in this, mainly the fact that I like her voice actor a lot more than the original, but that's going off topic. When it comes to the antagonist, Erica the Red, the direction would have been a lot more interesting if it wasn't for the fact that the teacher brought her back to life. Believe me, there are better ways to make this antagonist a lot more better, instead of having the direction of one of the characters being stupid and not realizing the repercussions. While Buttercup is trying to face off Erica the Red, Bubbles and Blossom have an argument in order to confess with each other, and guess how all this wraps up? Bubbles gives Erica a paper cut from the sword that was used in the play. And that's it. There was no serious battle going on between Bubbles and Erica, just her giving Erica a paper cut. If this is a method of how every single episode ends in this reboot, then I can't imagine how the original can instantly showcase of how their endings can be done in comparison to the endings of this, but I'm gonna have to find 2 episodes from the original and the reboot to have a good comparison. The episode ends with Bubbles gaining the leading role, but the moment Jarrett is about to kiss her, she wants an understudy extremely. This would have been a horrible ending, but in hindsight, this is honestly a good ending, considering that Bubbles' reaction is basically everyone else's reaction when it comes to Jarrett's character, and the meaning behind the character. But it doesn't save the entire episode. This episode, while I didn't watch the entire series, it's still in my book one of the worst episodes of the reboot, and even worse than the Christmas episode. If I'm ever going to watch more of this show when it comes to Cartoon Crisis 3 material, which is mostly unlikely, I will probably find another episode that is either worse than this episode or worth comparing it to an episode that is similar to that from the original, but that's mostly debatable on my choosing. I'm giving this episode a 2.25 out of 10.